Hey guys, Andrew here from RA. I just pulled up to Ethan's house. Ethan is our in-house videographer, editor, master of all things video. And today we're going to shoot some really cool stuff about being proficient in your field. This is going to be a really cool vlog. We're going to have a lot of fun with it, but we're going to jump right into this thing. So I'm going to unpack all the stuff that's in my car here. We're going to head inside and start putting together a really cool video for you. So let's dive right into it. Okay, made it inside. Ethan and I are going to be setting up to do this vlog. We're gonna have a lot of fun, but really, I want to create an environment so you understand where this is coming from, and help you understand why it is that we chose to shoot a vlog on being proficient. Going back about 12 to 18 months, Richy and I lost a client. Put out a bid for a client that we had been working with, put together kind of our pricing guides for them and all this stuff. And they looked at that, and then they looked at another proposal they got from another digital marketing agency, and we lost that client that we had been working with because we got undercut. Basically, they came in with a much lower price tag, and we lost that client. In doing a little research on like, hey, why did we lose this bid? Why aren't we working with this client anymore? I dug into our competition effectively and realized that this was a digital marketing agency. They worked in digital marketing, but really what they were was social media managers. They were not people that were proficient in digital marketing, specifically for financial advisors. All that said, a few months later, we were reapproached by this former client, and they were interested in working with us again because, lo and behold, the person that wasn't proficient in digital marketing for financial advisors failed. They didn't deliver what they were supposed to, and the client lost a lot of their own clients. It was just a big mess. What it all boils down to is it doesn't make a lot of sense to hire somebody who's kind of making it their hobby to be in digital marketing, or maybe somebody that's brand new to digital marketing, especially in a niche like financial services, because it is such there's so many little key features that you have to keep in mind when you're marketing to this demographic and trying to get the conversions that we're trying to get, that if you just hire somebody that knows how to run a computer or knows their way around Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or whatever the latest social media channel is, they're not necessarily going to know how to get conversions for you. So came over to Ethan's house today to shoot this vlog because we're gonna show you the difference between somebody that is proficient in their craft and somebody that is just kind of doing it as an amateur. And I don't mean amateur in the pejorative sense. This is somebody that does it and maybe has some fun with it, but is not truly proficient. And what we're gonna be doing today is playing some bass guitar. You may not know this about me, but I play bass guitar, and I play reasonably well for somebody at my skill level and experience, but I am not proficient. I am what you would classify as an amateur. Ethan, on the other hand, is proficient. So you've seen Ethan's work in video. Obviously, you know he's proficient in that as well. But little known fact, Ethan is proficient in bass guitar and actually several other instruments. Maybe we'll show you a sneak peek of some of that stuff later. So we're gonna dive right in. We're gonna have some fun. This is gonna be a cool demonstration of the difference between being an amateur and being proficient. So let's do it.
Was that your best take?
It was my best, except that I landed on that E at the end. That was a lot of fun. We had fun shooting that. I'm gonna let Ethan introduce himself a little bit more. You've heard me talking about him a little bit, so I'm playing obviously. So Ethan, tell us a little bit more about your background in music production and what qualifies you to be the proficient individual in this exercise.
Well, I've been playing bass for a while. I think like 8 or 9 years, something like that. You've been playing about half that time, right?
Yeah.
Which, just the number of years that someone's playing isn't necessarily an indicator of experience or proficiency, but as you guys probably know, a lot of times
matters.
it matters. It is a marker of that, right? I grew up playing a lot of different instruments, played piano starting from like before school, picked up a bunch of instruments throughout junior high and high school, decided I wanted to study in college, so I studied music production. And you guys are in here with us in my home studio that I have set up for producing music, and I produce videos and stuff here for RA, right? So we just wanted to kind of talk through, okay, if you listen to those and you don't know what the differences are, maybe you can hear some differences, but you don't know how to pinpoint them. I'm just going to talk a little bit about like some of the differences in these two takes.
Yeah.
So when I listen back to these, there are like 3 things that kind of stand out to me. The biggest one is just the complexity of what was played, right? To give you some background on what we did here, we grabbed a music bed from Soundstripe, which we use for a lot of our videos. We took the bass parts out, and then Andrew was playing along with it. I played along with it. We practiced ahead of time, and we each brought something a little different. And what you brought was simpler than what I was playing.
Right.
Andrew is doing a great job holding down like the basic structure of the song, following the chords, kind of the backbone of everything that's going on. The part that I played was doing that, but then had what we call like fills in between. As a matter of fact, like the first part of the section, we're playing something really similar.
Right.
And then it kind of splits off. Mine gets more complex, and his is not quite as complex. So that's the biggest difference you'll probably notice is I'm just playing more notes, holding like that structure together, and also like playing these fills that accentuate the music and what's going on. The second one would be tone. When I listen to Andrew's part, the tone that's coming out of the bass is a little bit more dull sounding. Some of that is the way the instrument is adjusted. Some of it is the way you articulate with your fingers or with a pick. The tone that I specifically dialed in on my instrument was something I designed specifically to fit the song. So when I listen to these played back, I hear his bass, your bass sound. It needs some adjusting to fit the tune a little bit better, whereas what came out of my bass is a little closer to what we need for the track right from the get-go. And then the last thing that I'd mention is probably, as we're going in order here, the hardest one for someone with a non-musical ear to catch, and that would be the phrasing. So obviously phrasing alludes a lot to when someone's having a conversation. You can say the same thing twice, and it means something very different. Like if you say, oh, great, that was great. Or you say, oh, great, those clearly mean different things, right? So a more experienced musician will be able to communicate more, will be able to say different things even, and how they phrase. So listening to what one section of this song, if we listen to Andrew's phrasing, he's phrasing it a particular way. He's saying things a particular way. So a lot the way you inflect different words differently when you're talking, you're inflecting in like the ba-da-ba-ba-da, like you're creating a groove. Right. Some of your notes are louder than others. You're making the notes flow, one into another in a certain way. When you listen to my part, there's some very similar kind of phrasing going on with those root structure notes, but there's a little bit more of a conversation going on between, especially the root parts and the fills that I'm playing. So again, you kind of, what I like to call in this, like have a classic thing in music, which is kind of a call and response. Right. Like those lower parts kind of like ask a question, and then those higher parts answer it. And that's kind of on the really like fine-tuned sense of what the difference is, between an amateur and a professional. When you hear someone play an instrument, one of the really specific things is phrasing.
Yeah, I think the things that stuck out to me, obviously the complexity. The tone was, I think, the biggest obvious, other than the complexity and the phrasing. The tone really stood out to me between the two. Mine was very dull and muddy, and yours was very bright and chunky and kind of this aggressive sound that I think it fit, like you said, it fit the song better. But I mean, it ties back to what we were talking about earlier with, I know how to play the bass guitar. I can pass, I can get up on the church stage and not be terrible, not be a distraction. But there's a very clear difference between when I get up on that platform and when Ethan gets up on that platform. In any other environment, that would be the case as well. And when we're talking about this experience we had a year ago where an amateur came in and tried to take over the work that we had done, the result was dull and it didn't perform well and it didn't sound good. It was just not as good. Finding somebody that's proficient in their craft is really the key. That's what we're getting at here with this whole thing. Yeah,
what is it that you always say about hiring a plumber to do?
Yeah, you don't want to hire a roofer to do a plumber's job.
Oh, that's how it goes, yeah.
Because otherwise you'll end up knee-deep in lots of stuff.
Yeah.
That you don't want to be knee-deep
And just to be clear, if you want to pay me to play bass, that's maybe a good idea. But don't ask me to do any plumbing for you.
I'm a decent plumber, for what it's worth.
That guy. Rolling up my sleeves, getting serious.
People don't hire me to play bass guitar. They hire guys like him. He's off camera right now, but trust me, he's there. They hire me and they hire Richy, they hire RA Marketing to do marketing for financial advisors. That's our niche. We've niched down into that industry. We've spent years, as many years as anyone in the financial services space, developing the strategies that we've implement on a regular basis to do digital marketing for financial advisors. So key takeaways here: hire people that are proficient in their craft, people that are true professionals in what they're trying to do for you, whether this is marketing related or music or plumbers or roofers, whatever it might be. When you're looking for somebody to do a job for you, when you're paying them real dollars, you need to make sure that you're hiring somebody that's actually proficient in that craft. Just like that situation we had a year ago where we lost the client to somebody that was not proficient. You save some money at the outset, but it ends up costing you a lot more down the road. Don't step over dollars to pick up dimes. You got to make sure that when you're doing things in your business and in your life even, that you're hiring professionals and that you're getting quality work every single time.
That's what I should have done.
Oh yeah. Good times. Whoa, grab my face. We have this, you're gonna want to cut it right there. This has been good.